that want to get this thing done and want to play games. So for you to say everybody's on the same page was a complete lie. Now, here's Adam Silver. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Tuesday night he is tracking WNBA collective bargaining sessions very closely, and that he and Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum would both be willing to join the prolonged negotiations to finalize a deal. That means when Mark Tatum is getting involved.
The NBA commissioner has officially stepped into the WNBA's contract standoff, and it wasn't a soft offer of assistance. Adam Silver made his position clear, urging both sides to find common ground and get games back on schedule. The message mirrors exactly what Caitlin Clark pushed for 2 weeks ago when she broke from the Players Association, prioritizing play over prolonged deadlock. Now, the most powerful figure in basketball is effectively backing that stance, shifting leverage in the dispute as league founders rush to defend their winter project and keep the season from unraveling.
Silver also said he has great relationships with many of the players and believes the sides are on course for a solution. The current 40-day extension ends January 9th, and that date is fastly approaching. Okay, he says, I remain optimistic we'll get something done, but whether that means I'm physically sitting at the table for the negotiation, Silver said. And again, I speak for Mark as well. We have been involved with this league for 3 decades. In essence, I care enormously about it and want it to be successful, and I want the players to feel fairly treated as well. And I realize there's been a disconnect, especially over the...
Here's why Adam Silver stepping in changes everything. He didn't dodge the hard parts. He flat out said compromise has to come from both sides. He pointed to WNBA players already earning significantly more as the league's success continues to grow. But what mattered most was what he didn't say. There was no mention of a 50-50 revenue split. The core demand the union keeps pushing. Instead, Silver focused on actual dollar increases, not a percentage-based model, signaling that the union's preferred framework may be dead on arrival. Timing makes this even more critical. Silver made these remarks on December 17th during the NBA Cup Finals in Las Vegas, with the current CBA set to expire January 9th. That leaves just 3 weeks to close what insiders describe as a massive gap. Players asking for 30% of league revenue, while the WNBA is offering 15%. By urging both sides to meet in the middle while dismissing the revenue split formula altogether, Silver effectively reset the entire negotiation landscape.
We feel. And now let's get to the actual video so we can get more dialogue of what Breanna Stewart had to say. They trying to hardball. The owners aren't going to give in to all this nonsense. They're trying to hardball. These players are. And at the end of the day, Adam Silver is with Caitlin Clark. Y'all need to compromise and get this damn deal done and stop playing games.
Hey, Stewie. Good to see you. I had 2 questions. The first, Adam Silver spoke ahead of the Cup and said that if necessary, he'd be up for coming to the bargaining table, him and Mark Tatum. I'm just wondering, do you think that would be beneficial? Would there be value to having Adam's presence at the bargaining table?
That's exactly how we see it. And with that laid out, let's get into the actual video so we can hear more directly from what Breanna Stewart had to say. The players are trying to play hardball, but the owners aren't going to fold to what they see as unrealistic demands. At the end of the day, Adam Silver has made his position clear. He's aligned with Caitlin Clark's message that it's time to compromise, get the deal done, and stop dragging this out. During the exchange, Stewart was asked 2 questions, starting with Adam Silver's comments ahead of the NBA Cup about potentially stepping in alongside Mark Tatum to help at the bargaining table. The question was whether Silver's direct involvement would actually be beneficial, and if there would be real value in having him present during negotiations, and what her overall thoughts were on that possibility.
What we're doing right now isn't really getting us anywhere, so if that means that Adam and Mark need to come to the table, we're more than happy to have that, and just making sure everybody understands what we want and how we feel, and realizing that both things can be true together. Everybody can agree and get what they want out of this, but there has to be some I don't know, mutual, some things in common happening first. So Yeah, if Adam wants to come, I would love to have him.
Watch Breanna Stewart's reaction closely, and it tells you everything you need to know. She openly admits that what's happening right now isn't moving the needle at all. Translation: the Players Association's hardline approach hasn't worked. They walked away from the existing agreement back in October, assuming the league would panic over revenue sharing. Instead, they burned through 2 deadline extensions, watched the league announce new teams without their input, and now face the reality of the NBA commissioner potentially stepping directly into negotiations. Stewart says she'd welcome Adam Silver at the table, but her wording matters. She emphasizes wanting everyone to understand what players want and how they're feeling. That doesn't sound like confidence. It sounds like hope that Silver will pressure owners to give in. The problem is, Silver's already made his stance clear. He's not showing up to force a 50-50 split. He's showing up to force a deal that keeps games on the schedule.
And the season is going to run from fall to April, which is in direct competition with Unrivaled. What were your immediate thoughts when you heard about Project B? And what's the long-term answer for the landscape of women's basketball? Is it to have one premier league? Is it to continue developing all of these leagues? Like, what is truly the answer? What is the ideal world for the women's basketball landscape?
Yeah, I mean, I think my immediate thoughts when I saw Project B, I was kind of like, well, they saw what worked. You know, they saw the success that we had here at Unrivaled, and they wanted to be a part of that in their own way and try to do it. But at the same time, knowing, what we're doing here.
This is where it starts to unravel for the players. Breanna Stewart says both sides can win, and everyone can get what they want, but only if something mutual happens first. That wording matters. For the past 2 months, the Players Association insisted revenue sharing was completely non-negotiable. They mocked Adam Silver's October comments about focusing on real dollar growth instead of percentages, and framed the standoff as a larger fight for fairness and equality. Now, their most visible voice is publicly acknowledging that compromise means everyone has to give something up. That's a significant retreat from a union's hard public stance. It also puts players like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier in a difficult spot, especially after launching Unrivaled, because the longer negotiations drag on, the clearer it becomes that the fight may not be benefiting all players equally.
Yeah, we'll have like a tour stop in Philly this year, but making sure that we're prioritizing players and their bodies and their health. And as for a long-term solution, I don't know the answer, because it's like now you have all these options. You have Unrivaled, you have WNBA potentially happening in its normal season.
This moment lays bare the real divide happening behind the scenes. Breanna Stewart is asked about Ice Cube's new 3-on-3 league, which runs from fall through April and directly overlaps with Unrivaled's winter schedule. Her response is telling. She says Ice Cube's project saw what worked at Unrivaled and wanted their own piece in their own way, then quickly pivots to praising Unrivaled, highlighting ownership stakes, resources, and the benefit of keeping players in one city. What she avoids is just as important. She doesn't acknowledge that Ice Cube's calendar actually fits better alongside the WNBA season, nor does she mention that players who prefer to stay overseas and then return for a full WNBA season now have a real alternative. Instead, she dismisses his imitation and redirects the conversation back to Unrivaled's selling points. That isn't balanced analysis. It's promotion, and it underscores a conflict of interest that's been shaping these negotiations from the very start.